Call to order City Council meeting number 1278, City of Forest Park, Ohio, September 19, 2016. Let us stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Burns. Collins. Here. Collins. Herbie.
Here. Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Southall.
Here.
Is there a motion, Councilwoman Herbie?
I would move to excuse council members Burns and Cottle.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we excuse Council members Burns and Councilmember Collins. Is there any discussion? I'm sorry, Cottle. Sorry, Denise. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion to excuse, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Council members Byrne and Cottle are excused. Item number 2 is minutes. You received a copy of the minutes. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. Next item on the agenda is item number 3, presentation, business of the month. Paul Grimm is not here, so I would ask that the liaison, Councilwoman Herbie, come forward for the presentation of business of the month.
Our September Business of the Month is a longtime member of our business community. Sally Beauty opened the doors to its Forest Park store at Parkwood Plaza in 2008. Since then, their dedicated employees have helped our residents look their very best. The store has also become an important resource for area salons. Indeed, their store associates are trained professionals, many of whom are licensed hairstylists. Founded in 1964, this impressive company offers customers and salon professionals thousands of top-quality products. Indeed, every Sally store carries more than 5,000 professional salon products for hairs, nails, and skin, plus the latest in beauty trends and accessories. With more than 2,000 company-owned stores nationwide, Sally Beauty is the largest retailer of professional beauty supplies in the entire world. Product distribution is handled by a highly sophisticated replenishment system from 3 distribution centers in Florida, Ohio, and Nevada. Sally sells to both consumer and professional customers, including hairstylists and hair, nail, and skin salon owners, all from the same location. Retail customers like buying from the same place as beauty professionals. Thanks in large part to an impressive line of first-class products, the company has built an intensely loyal customer base with both consumer groups. In recognition of the store's impressive record of success here in our community, it's my pleasure to honor Sally Beauty with this month's award. It's my understanding that store manager Mariah Rossi is on maternity leave and could not be with us. We certainly want to congratulate her and her family, and we wish her the best. We do have someone from the store here tonight. Accepting tonight's award is the store associate, Franchetta Burke.
City of Forest Park Business of the Month, Sally Beauty Supply, in recognition of the company's contribution to the growth and development of the City of Forest Park. Thank you again. Thank you. You'd like to say a word? Go on. It's required.
Thank you. I wasn't prepared.
That's all right.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is communications from the public. This is a time for citizens to comment on matters before council or to ask questions of concern to them. When recognized, please come forward to the podium, give your name and address, and then state your comments or questions. Council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcriptions. Comments are limited to 5 minutes. Is there anyone from the public who would like to address the council? So come to the podium, sign in, tell us who you are. And
Good evening, everybody. My name is Peter Stackpole. I live in Glendale, 785 Ivy, and I'm here because I'm introducing myself to as many councils as I possibly can throughout Hamilton County. I'm running for Common Pleas Court. I'm the chief counsel for civil litigation for the city of Cincinnati. I've been a lawyer for about 16 years. I've tried probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 trials, state and federal courts, former Coast Guard officer. And I am here running for judge because I want to make a difference. Usually people come into court and things are not going well. They're accused of a crime, or they're injured, or they're being sued. All of these things are bad. And I think that a trial judge has a real opportunity to make a difference, to make an impact in the lives of people who come into that courtroom when they're very vulnerable. So I think that that's an important function, and it's something that I'd like to do. I think it requires listening to both sides, listening to what's going on, trying to figure out what's happening with these individuals who are coming to the court, and treating them with respect, and that's something that I will do. Everybody who comes before you, every judicial candidate will tell you that they want to be fair and impartial. And I, too, want to be fair and impartial, but there are two things that I'm going to be doing that are different than, well, I believe that they are different. The first thing is, in as many cases as I possibly can, I will be writing decisions. I think it's incumbent on a judge to explain why. Too often in state trial court, we don't get an explanation for why the judge took a particular action. And it weakens the moral authority of the court because you don't know why. And I think that's a real problem, and I'd like to address it by citing to legal authority, using common sense, plain English, and just make a decision so that everyone can follow and understand why. The second thing that I'm going to do that I know is different in Hamilton County, might be different throughout the state, is I want to make my sentencing statistics publicly available. I want to create a database so that when I say I want to work against implicit bias, when I say I want to be fair and impartial, people can actually see, the public can actually see, did I treat everyone the same? So those are two things that are important to me. The other thing that's important to me is our court system needs to be more efficient. You've heard it said that justice delayed is justice denied. That's true. Justice delayed is also really expensive. And when litigation becomes expensive, it becomes less accessible for everyday people. So I think that the more efficient that our courtrooms become, the more everyone can access it, and that's important as well. I appreciate your time. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, members of council. And thank you all.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to address the council? Please come up and sign in and tell us who you are. Yes, sir. That's okay. You do
Hello,
it.
my name is Dan Almaguer. I'm here on behalf of Marilyn Zayas Davis. She's running for judge for the Ohio First District Court of Appeal, and I'm sure all of you know that there are 12 districts in the state of Ohio. Hamilton County is the first district. Marilyn is extremely well qualified, and she has nearly 20 years experience as a lawyer, litigating for her clients in all of the courts that lead to the Court of Appeals, including the Court of Appeals and some of the federal courts. I would like to reiterate what Peter Stackpole said. She stands for a lot of the same things, and that those were a lot of the reasons that she has shared for wanting to become a judge. She's got a lot of endorsements. She's also been an adjunct professor in the UC Law, and she works on she spends about 25% of her time working in the community for Beach Acres Board, Catholic Charities Southwest Ohio Board, and she's got a lot of endorsements, and again, she would make an excellent judge. So I don't want to take up any more of your time, and appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yep. You can just sign in. I believe Mr. Williams.
Thank you.
Simple. simple instructions.
Okay, anyone else address the council? Sign in, please. Tell us who you are.
My name is Robert Williams, and I've been living in Forest Park now since 1968. And at present, we live in the I section. And I'm here because my grandson, he's a student over at Central Baptist. He's in the 8th grade. And he said, Granddad, he says, we only let people know, let council know, that they appreciate the police department here in the city. And I told him I would come and make the statement because we're very satisfied in our section with the police department. And you'd be surprised if you knew if the police department, the officers that come in, and a lot of the kids in the I section, they say, oh, they're very friendly. They wave at the kids, and that means a lot. And my grandson was very concerned because when we go out of town, I usually call the department and let them know. And my neighbors, they keep eyes on it, and they say the police department, they'll come by and they'll drive up in the driveway and sit there for 5 minutes, and then they go on their way. And it's very important for the presence of the police to be in the community. And it's something that my grandson, he said, well, I want to be a policeman one day. And I said, well, you can do that. All you have to do is apply yourself. And so I have 3 boys and a daughter, and they all graduated from Winton Woods High School, and they are productive citizens. They all are college graduates, and we are very proud of them. We are very proud to be part of the city of Forest Park. And also, I was at a meeting last month, and the police chief of Forest Park, he didn't know I was there, and he stated they was asking questions with the Black Lives Matter. And I thought it was how he responded to the question. And so when he got ready to leave, some of the people were saying, well, who is that guy? And I said, well, he's the Forest Park chief of police. And on last Sunday, one of the officers visited our church, and of course my pastor is he's a chaplain for the Hamilton County Police Department. And he has a mega church in this community, and I think most of you know who he is. I will not call a name. But anyway, one of the policemen were there Sunday, and it really means a lot if the people see the police in the community. And unless my grandson said, well, every time something happened, you call for the police. He said, why don't you let people know, especially council, that you appreciate the police department here in Forest Park. And thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I will, and I'm sure that Mr. Hodges will convey that message to our police department next. Would you come up and sign in, please?
Hi, my name is Sheila Williams, and I live at 724 Carlsbad Road in the C section. I don't need to give the zip, do I?
Excuse me?
Do I need to give the zip code? I didn't think so. And I'm coming to you, gentlemen and ladies, tonight because I've been a resident, I think, since 1998 out here on Carlsbad Road, and I'm having some internal problems. And the problems are with the tax office, and I don't know what to do. So this is the first time that I've come before you guys. I had no idea when you guys met, but I was down here several times last week, and Miss Sally told me that you guys were having a council meeting, so that's why I came. So if you're having problems with the tax office, I'm not getting anywhere with them. I did talk to the kind police chief over here. He gave me a lot of consolation last week. I felt real comfortable after speaking with him. My problems are not with the police, they're with the tax office.
Ms. Williams, have you, I'm assuming then that obviously you've spoken with the people in the tax department?
Yes, sir, I have.
Again, our city manager, Mr. Hodges, is here. He has made note of the fact that you are seeking additional assistance with your tax problem. It would not be appropriate for us to comment on any individual citizen's tax situation in a public session, but I would suggest that you provide on that sheet, if you leave your name, address, and a phone number, and Mr. Hodges will have that information, and someone from the city will be in contact with you again.
Yes, sir, thank you very kindly. Now, what would you like me to sign, one of these?
Excuse me?
Would you like me to sign one of these?
No, there should be a form there, yeah,
No, these are what I,
okay. Mr. Williams,
I wasn't trying to be
no,
disrespectful.
he picked it up by mistake.
Oh, okay. Brother Williams and I know each other from
Well,
church.
just sign that and leave it on the podium up there if you would, please. Sure. Is there anyone else who would like to address council at this point? Seeing no one coming forward, I want to thank those people who came to the meeting to address council. We will now move to our item number 5, which is reports of standing committees. And before we do that, I will say to those of you who have come and addressed council, usually at this time, those people who are visitors with us will take leave. You're more than happy to stay if you choose to, but knowing that you may have something else to do, you may leave if you feel the need to. Thank you again. Item number 5, reports of standing committees. The first of these standing committee would be Human Resources Committee, Councilwoman Holt.
I do not have a report tonight, thank you.
Okay. Councilwoman Holt has no report. If anyone would like to ask a question of Councilwoman Holt? Hearing none, Councilwoman Holt, for the workshop on the 26th. We have amendments to Civil Service Codes, sections 36565, veteran preferences. I'm not sure, should that be on hers or should that be on the Civil Service Commission?
I don't,
Just wait. Okay, it's there. Next report then would be, Councilwoman Holt, would you have any to add other than the one I just gave?
No, I do not, thank you.
Okay. Next report would be Public Improvement and Facilities Committee. Yes, ma'am.
as a liaison to the Civil Service Committee, that issue was tabled. And I think you need to maybe check with,
I just checked with Mr. Hodges.
if it's,
It should be on there, yes.
okay, all right.
Next item is B, Public Improvement and Facilities Committee, Mr. Southall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good evening. On the brief report I would have for public improvement centers around the fact that the Lemon Tree traffic study would be a part of our next work session. That would be the end of the public improvement report. However, as a member of the Safety Committee, I would like to highlight the fact that October 9th through the 15th is designated as the Fire Prevention Week, and this was established in 1922, but in 1920, President Woodrow Wilson acknowledged the fact that after the tragic fire in Chicago, the famous Chicago fire, where 250 people lost their lives and 100 people were homeless, that we would always acknowledge October the 9th through the 15th as fire prevention. So they're just asking everybody to remember to replace your fire alarms every 10 years. And hopefully this will be one of the main stays to prevent something like that. That's the end of my report, Mr.
Any questions for Councilman Southall? Hearing none, Councilman Southall, I do have that item on the agenda for you for next work session. Do you have any others to add?
No, I do not at this time.
Thank you, sir. Next report is Public Safety, Councilwoman Cottle, who's absent. Does anyone from that committee have a report for her? Yes, ma'am.
I don't have a report, but I would just like to say thanks to Mr. Williams for coming in and expressing your appreciation of the police officers. As your grandson said, often the only time they ever hear anything is always something negative. And that really made me feel good tonight to know that there are people in the city of Forest Park that do appreciate our officers. And I really appreciate you coming in and sharing that with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Holt. I have no items on the agenda for public safety for the work session on the 26th. Next item on the Understanding Committee is the Ways and Means Committee, Councilwoman Herbie.
No, I just want to say that last Saturday was our annual used tire collection, and I know that was successful, so I encourage the Environmental Awareness Committee to continue to do that.
Any questions for Councilwoman Herbie? Hearing none, the next report would be item E, Community Development Committee, Mr. Burns. Anyone from his committee have a report for him? Hearing none, we go on to Intergovernmental Relations and Communications Committee. That's my committee. I have no report. I will answer any questions if there are any. Hearing none, the final standing committee was the Law Committee, Councilwoman Collins.
The Law Committee is vested in the work session coming up on Monday regarding the lemon tree issue. And it is awaiting some of the feedback from that committee to further enact laws regarding that issue. So I have nothing further to report from the Law Committee. However, I would like to acknowledge that for September 11th, the Dayspring Church invited all of City Council and the first responders and all of the public service servants from the City of Forest Park to attend their worship service that morning. And in attendance was myself, and as you know yourself, Mayor Johnson and Councilman Southall, and I believe several of the officers and perhaps the fire department was in attendance. And we had a very inspirational and blessed service that morning, whereas they covered all of the city servants and its participants with a hedge of protection. And from myself, that was very appreciated. And after that service was their annual picnic, church picnic, and I was in attendance from at that event from 1 o'clock until about 4:30, where we had scrumptious food and a whole lot of really good family fun. It was just a blessing to be among the people in that church and in their family fun picnic environment. And the adults were successful at the kickball game where we won the trophy. And it was the adults versus the kids, and the adults won. And so I was happy to be a part of the adult team, which creamed the children. And that's all I have to say about that event.
Any questions for Councilwoman Collins? Hearing none, we would move on to item number 6, the mayor's report. This is our first official council meeting since we recessed. Over that period, I've attended and been part of a number of events and meetings both around the city and around the area. As was just mentioned, I did attend the 9/11 celebration at Dade Springs Church. Also attended the Homeowners Association's anniversary, Inner Circle Homeowners Association, I believe. And I attended the 15th anniversary celebration for Kemper Rose Christian Church, and also attended their picnic. Their picnic was the following Saturday, which was last Saturday, but their picnic was a picnic for the city. Any and everybody who wanted to attend was welcome to drop by. Our police and fire department people came and took part in that. It was a nice time had by all. Today, I was over at the Senior Center. I'm usually over there a couple of Mondays a month. Today, they had their end-of-season grill out. I think they have 3 of those a year, right, Smith? And again, that was very well attended, and I want to thank all of staff and of both the city and the senior citizens committees and all of the people who attended. It was a great job, and a lot of fun was had by all. And I specifically want to thank those people those staff members, Ty Smith, who did the grilling, Taffy, who was there and helping out, and I even saw the city manager carrying food in and out. So it was a great event, and again, they do this quarterly, so the Senior Citizens Program is very expansive and extensive. They do a lot of different things. So anybody, any senior who can't find anything to do, get in touch with somebody at the Senior Center. And there are many, many, many things going on. And I'm sure you can find something that would strike your fancy and give you something else to do other than just sitting at home. That will conclude my report. I'll answer any questions if there are any. Hearing none, we go to the next report, the city manager's report. Mr. Hodges.
Thank you. I'll report 2 things. First, that we have completed the departmental reports. We placed them on file with the clerk of council for public inspection and also made them part of council's information. I'd also want to report that we have prepared an executive summary for council to basically keep you informed, help you be aware of some of the things that are going on in the community in various departments that you may not otherwise be aware of. So on both those matters, if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them. And again, I make it known because these are sources of information that are also available for the general public. That would conclude my report, but I would respond to any questions if there are any.
Any questions for city manager?
Yes. Could you speak to the September 14th of us hosting the Susan Wilkie Ethics?
I can probably just introduce it. You may be able to speak further on it, but there was a request for an ethics meeting.
Seminar?
Right, a seminar for public officials. And this came about through a discussion, actually partially a discussion with Councilmember Collins. And they were hosting this type of seminar in another location. And it was suggested that perhaps we should have one here. To make a long story short, we made our senior citizen facility available to them without cost, and there was a very substantial number of people that were able to attend that service. But it was for a public service to help public officials become more aware of the ethics guidelines that they're subject to. So with that in mind, you may want to add any further comments.
Yes, it was in attendance by approximately 60 individuals from as far north as Dayton and as far south as city of Cincinnati and almost to Anderson, where the original meeting is scheduled to take place in October. I was thanked well, firstly, we ran out of seating to the point that I kept having to add chairs. It was so well attended. And I was thanked for a good 7 minutes after the event by the individuals who did attend for hosting it in Forest Park, which was looked at as a central location, and caused everybody not to have to go all the way to Anderson for that particular training. And so I think we might want to consider in the future making our whatever spaces we might have available to other groups for, and not only in the sense of a free meeting space, but it could be looked at as an opportunity to host individual groups for pay meeting space locations as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Move on to item number 8, other reports. First of those being Law Director, Mr. Wyckoff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm going to run through a few items. I gave advice to the Tax Department regarding the proper procedure for service of complaints. I gave an opinion regarding a new property owner abutting Wright Farm property. I gave that to Mr. Biskey regarding the obligations and responsibilities of both parties involved. I also had the opportunity to review the new proposed mayor's court rules, which I had some changes to, and I understand they're now going to the magistrate. The final thing I wanted to report is, you may have seen by recent newspaper articles that once the medical marijuana law in Ohio kicks in, a number of communities are, by ordinance, having moratoriums for up to a year to see what happens, because the cities are permitted to control dispensaries or distribution centers. And many communities aren't aware of what the ramification of that's going to be, so they have passed legislation for putting moratoriums on for a year before that type of business could come into the city. I just raise that as a potential point of interest for council. Other than that, that would be the end of my report.
Thank you, sir. Any questions for Law Director? Hearing none. Move on to the next report. Clerk of Council, Mrs. Huffman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to report that ordinance numbers 11, 12, 13, and 15-2016, and resolution numbers 27, 28, and 26-2016 were posted as required. And that concludes my report.
Any questions for Clerk of Council? Hearing none, thank you. Move to Article 9, unfinished business. Is there a motion before that? Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, I would move to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate days and read for the second time by title only ordinance number 14-2016.
Second.
Been moved and second that we suspend the rules requiring a reading in full on 2 separate days and read for a second time by title only ordinance number 14-2016. Is there any discussion?
Yes, this ordinance was read for the first time by title only on August 1st, and also it would have been posted as required in order to suspend the rules. I would urge adoption of this.
Any further questions on the motion? Hearing none, would the clerk call the roll on the motion to suspend?
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Southall.
Yes.
The motion to suspend the rules passes 5-0. First item on unfinished business is item A, ordinance number 14-2016. Would the clerk please read that ordinance by title only?
Ordinance number 14-2016, an ordinance amending Chapter 110, Business Regulations by adding subsections prohibiting motor racing and outdoor motor events.
Is there a motion?
Yes, I move to adopt ordinance number 14-2016.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we adopt ordinance number 14-2016. Is there a discussion? Councilwoman Collins?
Yes. as we further addressed in the prior meeting, this was a motion, an ordinance that was brought to us to stop the motor racing and outdoor events that was taking place at the Cincinnati Mills location. And the gist of it is that since it was not a use that had been previously approved by us for the use of that space, and since it is creating quite a nuisance, noise-wise, et cetera, to the residents that border Springdale and Cincinnati Mills, and some Forest Park residents who, and the other businesses who are located on or about Cincinnati Mills, that we stop the use of that property in this manner. And I recommend the adoption of ordinance 14-2016.
Any other discussion? I might just add that before adopting this ordinance, we did make a number of attempts to seek out the management of the mall to try to work out something cooperatively, but unfortunately, it's very difficult to reach anybody that would be at the top of this out-of-state owned mall, and the local manager does not appear to be inclined to provide any kind of action that we would need to resolve the problem. So we felt like we needed to proceed with this ordinance in order to make sure that this matter was resolved. Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on 14-2016?
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Southall,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Ordinance 14-2016 passed 5-0. Next item on the agenda is new business. Is there a motion, Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, I would move to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate days and read for the first time by title only, ordinance number 16-2016.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we suspend the rules requiring the reading in full on 2 separate days and read for the first time by title only, ordinance number 16-2016. Is there discussion?
Just that this was posted as required.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on the motion to suspend the rules?
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Southall,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Herbie.
Yes.
Motion to suspend the rules passed 5-0. So we're moving now to item A under new business. Would the clerk please read this ordinance by title only?
Ordinance number 16-2016, an ordinance supplementing Chapter 96 miscellaneous regulations regarding graffiti abatement.
This is a first reading. This ordinance will be on the agenda for vote at the meeting on October 3rd. Move to resolutions. Motion, Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, I would move to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full and read resolutions number 30-2016 and 31-2016 by title only.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we suspend the rules requiring the reading in full and read resolutions number 30-2016, 31-2016 by title only. Is there discussion?
Just these were posted as required.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on the motion?
Johnson,
Yes.
Southall,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
The motion to suspend the rules passed 5-0. Next item is item B under resolutions. Would the clerk please read this resolution by title only?
Resolution number 30-2016, a resolution approving the development of U.S. Bicycle Route 25 through the city of Forest Park.
Is there a motion?
Yes, I make a motion to adopt resolution number 30-2016.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution number 30-2016. Is there any discussion? Councilwoman Holt.
Okay, this is a resolution. ODOT has approached us seeking our agreement and support on the routing of a long-distance bike route through Forest Park. This goes back to 1976 to the Bike Centennial, which established a route from the peninsula of Michigan to Mobile, Alabama. So basically, they have been working on establishing some kind of route. So it's similar to a number of highways that they already have. The plan for the U.S. bike route, US 25, is to have it pass through the city, mostly on Waycross Road and also down Hanover and through the DNC section. If we agree, then eventually they will put some signage up so that a bicycle rider who has never been here before can follow the route in either direction. Ultimately, these signs will become our responsibility to maintain, but it doesn't represent any great burden to the city. There are no pavement markings, et cetera, involved. So the state would purchase and initially install the signs, and the city would be responsible for maintaining them. With that, I ask for adoption of resolution number 30-2016.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on resolution number 30-2016?
Sethall,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Resolution 30-2016 passes 5-0. Next item on the agenda, item C, resolution number 31-2016. Would the clerk please read this resolution by title only?
Resolution number 31-2016, a resolution authorizing the city manager to accept a donation of the Northland Business District sign from the Forest Park Chamber of Commerce.
Is it a motion?
Yes, I move for adoption of resolution number 31-2016.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 31-2016. Is there any discussion? Councilwoman Holt.
Yeah, the title basically says it all. The local Chamber of Commerce has offered, and a city staff is recommending that we accept the donation of the business sign located in the right-of-way along Northern Boulevard near our city entrance at Route 4 as you're leaving Springdale. As a matter of background, about 22 years ago, the city entered into an informal agreement with our local Chamber of Commerce to allow them to install and maintain a large business entrance sign on Northland at our border near Route 4. And it was equally mutually beneficial arrangement because the Chamber wanted to promote the businesses along Northland, and the city also wanted more business recognition and activity along Northland Boulevard. With that, I move for adoption of resolution number 31-2016.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on resolution 31-2016?
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Sethall.
Yes.
Resolution 31-2016 passes passes 5-0. 20, why am I getting 20? Okay, next item on the agenda is item which is a motion. Councilwoman Collins.
Yes, I move that we adopt ordinance number 31
No. This is item D.
Item D.
Okay, it's a motion to direct the clerk of council to notify the Ohio Department of Liquor Control that the city of Forest Park does not request a hearing regarding a liquor license request to La Fiesta Mexico LLC DBA Fiesta Mexico 1195 West Kemper Road, Forest Park, Ohio 45240.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt a motion stating that that the city does not request a hearing for the liquor license for La Fiesta Mexico. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passed unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item E. That would be a motion. Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, I would move to receive the general fund summary report as contained in the departmental reports.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we receive the general fund summary report as contained in the departmental reports. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Is there any other business to come before the body? Yes.
Is this the proper place to suggest what I want to discuss in the work session?
I will put it on the work session schedule under Ways and Means. This is Councilwoman Collins has requested that an item be placed on the agenda to discuss budget, and I believe Councilwoman Herbert said we are now into that budget process. So it will be on the work session for the next meeting.
I would also like for the work session to discuss the medical marijuana issue.
I think it's a little premature for that. We don't have enough information, and before we have that discussion in the work session, I don't want to have that discussion in the work session without having the law director there, and obviously we've not had time for he and the city manager to get together to determine when that would be when he would be available for that.
Okay, I would just like to mention that there is a meeting in Sharonville for all of the municipal council people to discuss the medical marijuana issue and how the different suburban cities are going to deal with it. And that's coming up on, I believe, September 29th. I will be attending that.
Well, that's fine. I'm aware of that meeting. I will not be attending, and I made it known that I would not be attending because at this point, I don't have any authority from the city in terms of what the city may or may not choose to do, and it would be inappropriate, I think, for me to go to that meeting and express any position that the city would have when we've not taken any position. But as I said, I will suggest and direct the city manager to get with the law director, and when they feel that they have sufficient information to bring to us to make an appropriate decision, that would be done. As the law director discussed earlier, a number of people the law was passed, or it took effect, but as with so many, the rules, regulations, and guidelines are all over the place. Nobody really knows what's to be done or what the impact of what they do is going to be. I certainly don't want us, the city of Forest Park, to be even looking at allowing anybody to open a business for that sale until we're certain how that's going to impact us, whether at all. I'm not making any judgments or speaking about the need for it for people who need it for municipal purposes. I'm saying that for the city to make a decision on what we are going to do as a city, we need to be guided by the direction of our law director. So to that end, like I said, I would prefer that Mr. Hodges and Mr. Wyckoff, as they always do, get together and determine what times he would have available to sit down with us when he has what he feels is sufficient information to come to us. I don't want to push him into saying, okay, I'll meet with you next week, when he may not feel like he's able to tell us any more than he's told us tonight. Any further business to come before the body? Any further business to come before the body? Hearing none,